金马两地当时这个画坛呢，90%是从南美赚出来的，所以他在这方面培养我们的后起之秀，这一点来讲呢，他的功劳是非常大。
Georgette Chen is one of Singapore's most important first-generation artists. A bridge between Eastern and Western cultures, Chen would lay the foundations for the artistic identity of a new nation. She was born in 1906 to a wealthy family in Zhejiang province in China.
With Auntie Georgette, we lived on 3 different continents. And I think Auntie Georgette was influenced by all 3.
Georgette Chen grew up in France, China, and America. Her father, Zhang Jingjiang, was an antique dealer. His career took her through these vibrant cities and shaped her early years.
因为她的姐妹这些家里我就弹钢琴了，就那个时候是贵族才有这个。但是因为张老师他个子各方面比较小，手短啊，所以他要学画。让父亲呢就请一个苏联的老师一对一的教他。
She was first of all exposed to art in Paris and in New York. In the first early part of the 20th century, French Impressionism dominated the scene, and she was exposed to that during her formative years as an artist.
Chen spoke fluent French and was well acquainted with the sights and sounds of Paris. She was immensely inspired by Paris, where she grew up gazing at great art in museums. That was also where she had her first breakthrough as an Asian female artist.
Chen was just 24 when 2 of her works were selected for exhibition in the very prestigious Salon d'Automne, and her work was also featured in a 1937 exhibition at the Musée Georges de Paume. Chen was the only Chinese artist to be exhibited in this exhibition under the international section.
That same year, Georgette married the influential diplomat Eugene Chen in Paris, who would later become the first foreign minister of Sun Yat-sen's government in the 1920s. However, her blissful marriage was compromised by the global upheavals of the mid-century. After their wedding in Paris, Eugene Chen and Georgette moved to Shanghai in 1931, and later to Hong Kong when the Sino-Japanese War broke out in 1937.
The war was an incredibly difficult time, right, for Chen as well as Eugene Chen. And yet she continued to paint, using it as an outlet and sticking very closely to her desire to continue her work as a professional artist. It really speaks to the incredible commitment that she had to her craft. In fact, incredibly, in 1943, in the middle of the war, she actually held a small exhibition of her works at the Metropole Hotel in Shanghai.
Chen was an extraordinary artist who endured the turmoil of 4 significant conflicts: the Chinese revolutions of 1911 and 1949, and both World War I and II. Despite Chen overcoming the trials of war and finding artistic success, another trial was on the way when her main support and husband, Eugene, passed away in 1944. But again, that didn't end Georgette's career. She found love again and moved to Penang in 1951 with him to pursue a new life and career. Quickly integrating into Penang, she formed many new friendships.
I was 7 years old when I first met Auntie Georgette, and very quickly Auntie Georgette became my absolute favorite auntie. Whenever she came, she always played with us, the children, with her endless stories. I observed that she had this very relaxed, friendly personality. It doesn't matter who she was speaking to, she treated everybody the same. From the driver, the gardener, all the way, to a prime minister.
She arrived in 1951 in Penang, and in many ways it was meant to be a temporary stay, but was later invited to take up a teaching position at the Nanyang Academy of Fine Art in Singapore. So that promise of employment and being able to continue her work as an artist really then motivated her to move to Singapore.
Truly one of the paradises of this world, with these calm and warm shores on which so many races live, blending their cultures and colors into a many splendored pattern to feast the avid eyes of the artist. In 1954, Georgette Chen started working as a part-time art teacher at Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts, which was the only art school in Southeast Asia until the 1950s. This enabled her to continue her artistic pursuits while earning an income.
1969年到了3年级的时候，张丽颖老师就是我的素描的老师了。从1973年起呢，我就跟张老师是同事了，所以我是在那个时候就开始跟张丽颖老师比较的熟。他对学生的这个关心各方面大家都有目共睹，大家都知道的。她就像我们的老妈妈一样。
She also learned Malay, and I think that really speaks to, again, right, this through thread of determination and also sincere commitment to the new place that she was calling her home.
I now have a Malay name. I chose Cendana. To be a piece of wood is better since I am a natural blockhead. Now I remain one with a difference. A fragrant one.
张老师环绕了一个世界一大圈之后，他来到了新加坡新马，我就要了解这个地方所有的一切，画这边的景物，这边的风景。你看新加坡河老房子那边画得很出色。他是画他眼睛所看到的。
Chen developed a reputation for her impressionist-style oil paintings depicting still life. She sought to capture the poetry of everyday life in quintessential Singapore.
它既不是西方的抽象、西方的写实的那个画法，又不是像中国那个画法，它纯然是属于它自己的，属于它本地的，这就是它独有的。
She loved to paint the tropical landscape, the architecture, the fruits. She became very famous for painting ramutans and mangosteens and durians. And by the way, she loves to eat durians, which is a surprise because she's a newcomer, right, compared to the locals.
Chen contributed in many ways, beyond just her teaching post at the school. She was almost a fixture in the artistic community at the time. She was very actively involved in a lot of local art societies, such as the Singapore Art Society. She had her first solo exhibition in Singapore at the Chinese Chamber of Commerce in 1953. She was already very well known as a successful and established artist.
And she loved to paint people. And she really catches people's personality, and as if we just met them, and it was a moment of time that you see the person, that she catch that look.
Chen had a very particular approach when she was painting portraits. She often refused to paint from photographs, insisting that she spent time with her subjects, inviting them to sit for her multiple times over the course of weeks, sometimes months.
Her portraiture skills were so sought after that politicians like the first Prime Minister of Malaysia, Tunku Abdul Rahman, wanted her to personally paint them.
When I was 7 years old, Auntie Georgette painted this painting of me holding a doll, and it is entitled Dolly and Her Doll. You know, my name is Dorothy. Auntie Georgette is the only person in the entire universe who's allowed to call me Dolly. I absolutely adore the painting because it's a remembrance of my childhood and remembrance of the quality time I spent with her alone while she was painting me.
Art to me is a labor of love, and like such labors, expects neither gain nor reward, and brings meaning into one's life.
Chen really encouraged her students to find what would work best for them within their own artistic practices, right, which are really responding to a period of development and change, right, in Singapore, especially in the 1960s and 70s. A great example is Ng Ying Teng, whom she was very, very close to and really encouraged to pursue his practice in ceramics.
他教学很认真，对教素描也是很严格。这个应该是怎样的颜色，他一定要把它调制到他满意。他油的话呢，不厚，油很薄，但是你却觉得它非常的纯正，非常的醇厚。这就是他对这个东西的认真的态度。所以新马两地当时这个画坛啊，90%是从南美传出来的。所以他在这方面培养我们的后起之秀了。这一点来讲啊，他的功劳是非常大。
Although she found respite from the political instability of her earlier years on the sunny island, Georgette Chen was struck with a hereditary illness, rheumatoid arthritis. She was often in great pain, but she continued to paint and teach.
那时候她的脚痛，又忍着痛，抱着这个枕头上下楼梯。有时候我跟她一起，教课时间一样嘛，当然我就坐她的拐杖啊，下到平地。那时候她晚年了，已经到70年代尾的时候，晚年的时候这样。但是她很认真，她为了她的工作跟教育我们，咬着牙痛，她还是照做。她是非常严肃，我们都非常尊敬她。
Chen often spoke about how life is anguish and blessings all intermingled, which we must accept and carry on as best we can.
Auntie Georgette had this incredible personality, despite all the challenges she had to endure in her adult life, and she made the most of it.
张老师风湿病跟这些这样痛苦，我们已经是不是1-2年的事了，所以他应该要退休了。我说，张生，如果你要退休，我跟着你一样退休。他就笑了，他说：“你开玩笑，你这么年轻，我们现在最年轻的教师啊，什么退休？”所以1月底的时候，学生就给我们开了一个小小的茶会，就2个老师退，一个年纪最大的，跟个最年轻的。从那天起之后，我们就没有再去学校教课了。
Georgette Chen taught at Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts over a span of 27 years, educating and influencing a whole generation of artists. She was awarded the Cultural Medallion in 1982. This prestigious award honors individuals who have made outstanding contributions to the cultural landscape of the country.
The last time I saw Georgette was, I think, in the 1990s. She was already bedridden for over 10 years from her rheumatoid arthritis. And we had a lovely conversation. What she looked like was, she's very petite. She always wear high heel shoes. Her hair was always well done. And she even had her nails done. So we had a chat, and I know that she was very weak. And when I had to leave, I I came to her side and I said goodbye to her, and I kissed her lightly on both cheeks, smiling, and we both were smiling, and I left. And I knew I'm not going to see her again.
Georgette died in 1993 after a long battle with rheumatoid arthritis. But she lives on through her art.
Chen painted herself. What's most interesting to me is really, again, that consistency, the self-assuredness, and also quiet confidence that she always exudes, regardless of the time in which her life she was going through.
I shall end with a word on happiness itself, that elusive thing that we all seek in life. I can tell you that, like rare and worthwhile things, it simply does not grow on trees for all to pick and taste. It has to be worked and planned for. Then, someday, somehow it will spring forth from some inner reserves of a mature heart. Georgette Chen's love for this land, this tropical land in which she found rehabilitation, had finally come full circle.